Welcome, South Florida baseball fans. We have a very exciting way to kick off our 2026 season today. We're sitting down for our first Sunday morning chat of the year with former Douglas ace and current Philly lefty, Jesus Luzardo. Jesus, welcome in.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Great to speak with you again, man. So the last time we talked, really for the site, you were just a high school pitcher. Um, you've obviously been on a journey for the last 10 years, and the last 7 years you've been in the big leagues. So, what has that journey been like for you?
Yeah, I guess journey is the perfect way to describe it. It's been a long road and a lot of ups, a lot of downs, but at the same time, I've been blessed to, with the opportunity to reach, a goal that lifelong goal of mine, and I know of a lot of other players in South Florida growing up down here playing baseball, falling in love with the game. So, I look forward to keep doing it, but. Yeah, journey, it's been great. I've enjoyed every second of it. I had a great support system that helped me along the way. And, part of that being my family, past coaches, leaning on my alma mater, Stoneman Douglas. So, it takes a village for sure.
Talk about what it's like to have the kind of pipeline that you guys have created at Douglas. I mean, there's maybe three schools in the country that have that kind of pipeline that you guys have Coach Fitz, and then all you players have developed in the family atmosphere. Talk a little bit about what it's like to be part of that.
Yeah, for us, well, I guess for me growing up, going to Stoneman Douglas my freshman year, didn't really know what I was getting into, didn't really know many of the guys. Came along. I think it was Fitz's second year there. Followed him there, and yeah, I feel like we just started building, that culture that we had back then. Building a group of guys that at the time it wasn't that we had, all the star power in the world. My early years, we lost a lot of games to some bigger schools, but we had a lot of dogs, is what we used to say. We had a lot of guys with grit, and I think that was something that Fitz kind of instilled in us. And Fitz and Vaughn, who's now back, they were big for me in my development. And I feel like that's the culture that was created, and it was a brotherhood. We know we had each other's backs at all times. We hung out a lot off the field, and I think that's what made us great. And we went on to win a national championship, thankfully. And I really didn't do much that year. It was just I was just along for the ride, and it was great to watch. So, and I think that progressively, guys started understanding that, seeing that, and more guys wanted to come in and play for Stoneman Douglas and play for Fitz and play for that that brotherhood, that program. And thankfully, they, like you said, they built a great pipeline along the way, and they've done such a good job of developing guys and keeping it extremely competitive and going and winning champions year after year. So I think it's been a blessing, and Fitz has done such a great job with that program.
Talk a little bit about, a lot of the players look at you and they're like, wow, he reached the goal, like you talked about before. But now that you've been through the process and you've settled in as a major league player, what's some of the things you could share, like that are different than what you thought it was going to be when you were playing high school ball?
Yeah, playing high school ball, you get drafted and you don't really understand the minor leagues, and you don't understand, the grind that it takes to get there. And I thought that, you get drafted, you're in the big leagues, and it is what it is. Understanding that there's a process to get to the big leagues, you have to really grind through the minor leagues. It's a dog eat dog world. Guys are coming from all over the world, from South America, Latin America, even Europe, Asia. Everyone's fighting for, to put food on their plate for their family. And it makes you grow up extremely quick. It's a great environment. And for me, I feel like I needed that to grow up. And I guess everyone matures progressively at their own rate, but it's definitely a tough grind you go through. Now it's a little bit, they've changed some things, but the long road trips, the bad pay, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. It was an amazing time, and it, made me who I am today. But I think that, and then the other thing that stands out to me is that getting there is extremely hard, but I think staying in the big leagues is even harder. I think the level of adaptability that you need to have and to make adjustments quickly. And, the league adjusts to guys extremely fast, whether it's on the pitching or the hitting side. So I think being able to adjust to the league and their adjustments to you is extremely important as well. And that's something I had no idea about.
And that's something I was going to talk about a little later, but you just mentioned it. So let's get into it. So this past season, you had your best season You pitched the most innings, and you had the best season after working through some years with some injuries and other things. And even in this season, mid-season, you went through a little bit of struggles where there was word out there that you were tipping your pitches, maybe that maybe you were pitching hurt. What's it like to hear all that on the outside, and then you adjusted so beautifully from it, and then finished the season strong? So is that kind of the adjustments that you're talking about here?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it, definitely. I think, like I said, you need to adjust from game to game, sometimes mid-game, from pitch to pitch, batter to batter, even within the at bat, whatever it might be. Um, as I've gotten older, I don't want to call myself a nerd, but I like to nerd out about certain things about pitching. I like to do my reports. I like to really do my homework. I like to study the game. I want to be a student of the game, and understanding that these guys are extremely smart. These guys make a lot of money to pick us apart as pitchers, and they're doing their homework. They're finding any little thing they can. So any adjustment I can make, any edge I can get on a guy or on a team, whether it's finding out their approach early in the game. Like I said, it's a game of adjustments, and this season was a big time. Adjustments had to be made. Um, but I mean, hearing that stuff, I don't have social media, so I try to stay out of all that. I don't really listen to all the noise. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. So I've never really been one to care of, what people opinion about me. But to each his own. And I understand that. And if I was a fan, I would be frustrated with when I do bad as well. So, but yeah, I mean that in terms of adjustments for sure, and just not getting too high and too low. I feel like at an early age in high school, we get very emotional. We ride that wave. When you're pitching really well, you're riding that high, and when you're pitching, poorly, you get down in the dumps. And I think that as my career has progressed, I've understood that things happen in the ebbs and flows of the game, and you just need to stay as level as possible. You can't let the highs get too high and the lows get too low.
And how important is, I mean, the mental aspect? You'll hear every high school coach, every college coach, probably your pro coaches, they're all talking about the mental aspect of the game. But when you come from where you come from, and you were so revered in high school, and you have these kids year after year that are just at the top of the game in high school, and then they get to the next level and they're just kind of punched in the face with, I'm just another guy here and I need to get mentally straight. Um, I want you to just drive that home to the kids that are and the players that are listening, because that's probably the biggest battle that high school coaches have, is getting these great players at this level to understand the mental aspect of what it takes at the next level.
Yeah, I mean, I think that to a certain extent that your talent and your hard work are going to take you to a level or to a place that it can go to. And then the rest is what I've seen my time, playing with some future Hall of Famers or playing against them is they always find that edge. They always, find it mentally, whether it's, staying level-headed after an 0 for 4, they're in a slump, or, they're 4 for 4 and they're staying locked in, whatever it might be, not carrying an air out to the field, or to your at bat. Staying locked in throughout the whole game, watching your teammates at bats, talking to your teammates, what did you see? This is what I saw. Um, Picking up a tip, staying locked in, not BSing in the dugout with your teammates, really staying locked in, watching the game. The game will tell you. Certain guys do certain things. We're just creatures of habits. So whether it's a pitcher, whether it's a hitter, whether it's the catcher telling you basically what's coming, and you're on the bases, and it's a free bag for you. Little things like that add up, and I think that that's what makes the great ones great, is that they pay so much attention to detail that when you say the game looks easy to this guy, it's because he's paying so much attention that you're basically telling him what's going to happen. So now it's easy for him, and I think that that's what makes the great ones great. And that's like the key separator of that mentality of also playing, a long season. You get to the minor leagues, a full season. I forgot what it is, but I know it's over 100 games. And then, you get to the big leagues, it's 162, and then maybe more into October. So playing every single day, bringing that, that grit every day. Where, it's mid-July, it's August, it's hot, you're tired, your team might not be in contention for playoffs. Like, you still got to bring it every day, every at bat. And I think that, again, that's what makes the great ones great. That sometimes, at a young age, you kind of slack off. You don't do your work in between. I'm a little tired. I don't want to go work out. I don't want to go throw, or I don't want to hit. And these guys are doing it every single day. Doesn't matter if they're 35 and they have 6 kids at home, or they're 21 and just debuted. Like these guys are doing it religiously because they know that at the end of the day, if this is what you want to do for a living, this is your craft. You have to put all you have into it.
Sure. Well, that's great information for some of these players coming through. Let's get back to your current team. You've played for Oakland. You've played for your hometown Marlins. Now you're playing for Philly. Um, what's it like to play in front of that fan base that's that passionate and just very demanding of their sports teams? What's that like playing in Philly right now?
I've loved every second of it. I think that coming from the previous two organizations that I was in, and I had an amazing time, and I wouldn't trade that for the world. But I think it was a little different in the sense of the fans showing up and their expectations of us, and obviously in Philly, the expectation is always a World Series or it's a bust, and they do a great job of supporting us and showing us love, and every day, whether it's midweek. During the work week, and we have a day game and it's raining. We have a sellout crowd, and it's incredible. You don't have to you get a little extra motivation. It's just there. They're showing you love, they're showing you passion, and when you do poorly, it is what it is. They'll let you know, and I think a lot of us are hard on ourselves as well. So it's not, something that deters us from wanting to do better. If anything, it kind of motivates us to do better. And but I've loved it. I love the city, the passion, the expectation. I think that a lot of guys rise to that.
Awesome. And I saw you just worked out the 1 year deal with Philly for this year, so you'll be there through the end of the year, and then you guys obviously have huge expectations. What kind of adjustments do you make from last year and for the team the last couple years where they've been there at the end, they've won the division, and they just can't get you guys can't get over that hump in the playoffs, and the fans don't realize that everybody's playing for the same thing, so they want to say, well, these guys didn't do this right or they didn't do that right. How much of it is just the guys on the other team are trying to win too?
Of course, yeah. I mean, um, there's a saying out there like they get paid a lot of money too. So it's obviously, they make a lot of money and they're just as good and they're doing the same thing, going for a World Series. So it's tough. And I see from a fan's perspective, if I was a fan, I would be frustrated as well. But again, I think, a couple different hops here, a couple different hops there, maybe a different call here. Not blaming it on a call or a hop or whatever it might be, but it's just the way baseball is. It's a game of inches. We're a couple inches away from a safe call or an out call, or a half an inch from a strike call or a ball call, and whatever it might be. It's such a close, like little narrow margin of error that it can go anyone's way. And it's just, it didn't happen to go our way last year, unfortunately. And we ran into a really good team that went on to eventually win the World Series. And but I think that, we had an amazing team. We had an incredible opportunity, and we played an extremely tough series. And I think that, we fought all the way to the end. And again, it was unfortunate the way it happened, but if we had to do it all over again, I like our chances. So and I'm looking forward to this year. I think that again, the goal is a World Series as it always is, and that should always be the expectation.
Sure. So let's take it back to the high school level here. You've been around the team, lately. You spent some time with them. What's that experience like for, because when you walk on the field, all the eyes are on you, being a big leaguer now. So what's that experience being around these high school guys now?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it a lot, to be honest. It takes me back to when I was at Douglas, and we'd have some guys come out. Rizzo would come out to talk to us every once in a while. Vaughn would bring out Napoli. Every once in a while with T. Hosmer. So it was awesome. And I remember those moments for me. And then so to be able to kind of give that to these guys. But at the same time, I try to just talk to them, like I'm one of them. And that's what I want to be. When I'm on that field, we're all the same. I'm just here to help you guys and kind of be a sounding board to Fitz and the coaches. And anyway, I tell them, ask any question you want. Come to me with anything, whatever you want to ask, whatever you want to talk about, anything. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it's baseball related, if it's not. Like I'm here to talk. That's what the only reason I go out there. People that know me, I'm pretty shy, quiet, reserved, but when I'm out there, I feel comfortable talking to them and, hanging around them, giving them little tips, messing around. I just want to be, integrate myself with them and show them like I was once exactly in your shoes. I walked those hallways. Had the same teachers, went through the same struggles and problems and thoughts that you guys did. And now, I came to practice. I changed my in this locker room as well. So it's like we are one and the same. I'm just 10 years older than you. So ask any questions, and I love being around them. It's been great. I went and talked to the team for a little bit. They helped out a lot at my foundation camp. I have a kids camp every year, and yeah, I'm looking forward to going tonight and watching the game a little bit.
Awesome. And with your Jesus Luzardo Family Foundation, you did some team bonding things with the team. Tell me a little bit about your foundation and your desire to give back to the community here in South Florida.
Yeah, for me, I mean, my foundation is something that I can't do without my family and my parents. My parents do such a good job of helping me run that and making sure everything goes smoothly. But for me, it's just always been something that I've always been one to want to give back, and never for, recognition or anything, but just thankful for where I come from and, the community that I grew up in. And also understanding that I was blessed to be in, an area with a lot of, like a high school with a lot of resources, and blessed with a lot of opportunities that a lot of other kids might have not had. So I'm thankful for that. And I just want to give back and, be able to give those opportunities to kids that might not have them. So, I made it to the big leagues, thankfully. And we have this platform that we can reach out and affect a lot of lives, whether it's, kids to adults, sick or healthy, whatever it might be. Just want to help out any way possible and give back. And I think that for me, it's something super important. My parents kind of instilled in me since I was young, and I've always been very, motivated to give back. So I'm thankful for the opportunity to do so. And yeah, I mean, the team bonding the other day, I thought was a great idea for me. I'm big on team dinners for us, for all the teams I've been on. It's always been something that's nice when we get some time, get all the guys together, go out to eat, and just kind of separate from baseball and just get to know everyone. And really, that I think that helps us on the field. So that's something that I wanted to kind of give back to Douglas as well. Let them kind of disconnect, and that's really what makes you have each other's backs at the end of the day.
Just recently, obviously, that Douglas family's going through a lot with their diagnosis of Coach Fitz's wife and her health issues. The whole community has rallied around that. What's it been like to be a part of that and help out in any way you can with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's been obviously great to see the community rally around Fitz and, his family, his wife. Just a lot of thoughts and prayers, giving back any way possible, trying to help out, supporting any way needed. And I think a lot of his ex-players, a lot of the guys that he, play for him now, families that he's, affected throughout the years, helped coach their kids or whatever it might be. I think that it kind of goes to show how much, he means in this community, and his family means in this community. And obviously we're praying for her. And but I always, we always tell him, and I know everyone does that, whatever he needs, we have his back, because I feel like he's an important part in a lot of people's lives.
Sure. And tonight's game, you talked a little bit about it. They're going to be retiring your number. What's that experience like to go back and know that nobody's ever going to wear your number again after this year over at your high school? What's that feeling like?
Yeah, it was something that I would have never, if you would have told me that, 10 years ago, I would have never guessed that that would be the case. So it's obviously a blessing, and I'm honored, especially it being at, Stoneman Douglas, a school that now has a really great track record of a lot of guys coming out of there with a lot of talent, and, such good baseball players, but also good dudes. So, it's an honor. I'm thankful for it. And yeah, right now, Von Sturzbach, my old pitching coach, his son's wearing number 9 for the last year. So I'm glad it's in good hands. I shot him a text and I said, yeah, make sure you take care of it.
So the last question I got's a little bit selfish for me and my fantasy baseball junkies league. You'll be happy to know you were part of a championship team on my roster last year.
I love
So
that.
it's coming about time for keepers and for us to declare our keepers. So make your case on why we should keep you this year on our fantasy team.
I mean, that's a good one. I mean, I don't know. It's basically, going off last year. I mean, I'm always looking to do better and better every year. For me, I'm trying to always grow and build off last year. Obviously, 2 years ago was frustrating, and last year was, like you said, a really good year for me. And this, hopefully another big year, and not only for me, but for the team. So any way I can help, my team get in a better position to win, that's what I want to do. And if that helps me out as well, then I'm glad to do it.
Awesome, man. Well, it's great talking to you, man. You're a great inspiration for everybody down here. You did it the right way. You're still doing it the right way. And I appreciate you taking the time out. Things like this are so valuable for the community. And for you to come back and do it, I just appreciate it. And I wish you good luck this year, man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
All right.